Welcome to Feng Shui Living, the podcast designed for busy women who want to de-stress, live with intention, and create a home that truly supports their well-being. Each week, I'll bring you practical tips, insightful ideas, and simple strategies to enhance both your home and your life. Let's get started. If you love this podcast and you're ready to go deeper into this work, my book, Aligned at Home, is designed to help you start shifting your space right away with simple, approachable guidance. And for those of you who like something maybe a little more hands-on, the Aligned at Home workbook gives you prompts, exercises, and checklists to actually walk through your home and make some changes. You can snag links for both the Aligned at Home book and workbook in the show notes. Hello, friends, and welcome to Feng Shui Living Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Morton, and today I am joined by Julianna Strickland, the creator of Space Camp Home Organizing. Oh my gosh, I just already adore the whole vibe of this business, and I can't wait to introduce you. Julianna, welcome to Feng Shui Living Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
So let me share a little bit about Julianna. She's originally from Wichita, Kansas, and moved to Los Angeles in 2005 to study filmmaking at USC. After working as a Disney princess and building an audience through YouTube, cooking videos, that's so cool. You went on to produce and host lifestyle content for a decade. Wow. Since launching Space Camp in 2019, she's been featured in the New York Times and Domino and organized thousands of spaces. She lives in a 115-year-old craftsman home with her husband, toddler son, and twin terriers, Mary, Kate, and Ashley.
It's true. You may hear them barking in the background. We'll see.
That is okay. We are pet friendly here. I swear whenever I'm recording, Amazon knows and they drive up my driveway. So
yeah, that'll do it. They are also the nemesis of my pet. So,
so tell me. Here's the new thing I'm doing on the podcast with my guests. Tell me something else interesting. I love the Disney princess part, but what's something else interesting, unique, quirky that most people might not know about you?
About me? Well, I grew up playing violin. I started when I was 8, and then I started going to fiddle music camp when I was 12. And one of my geometry teacher in high school was one of the original Dixie Chicks. Her name was Robin Macy.
Wow.
And she kind of took me under her wing, and I started playing like country fiddle music. And I almost went to college for that. And I thought that was going to be my career for a long time. And I played with someone named Coffey Anderson when I moved to LA, and I sort of like pursued it a little bit and then decided that music was going to be a hobby and I was going to do other things. But I think most people who know me in this current iteration of my life like don't really know that about me.
That's really cool. I love that. Thanks for sharing. So you're also a musician. That's something.
I mean, I wouldn't identify as a musician anymore, but yes, in a former life I was.
So you started Space Camp in 2019. Tell me how you got inspired to start this business.
Absolutely. So I've always been like creative and like had an artistic side. And I went to USC for film. And after doing a few different things, I became a digital producer. And so when you're a producer in Los Angeles, unless you like work full time for someone, you're freelance. So I would do like a show or two here and there. And then in between that, I needed something to kind of fill in the gaps financially with my time, creatively, all of that. And I started assisting for people. And that really naturally led into organizing because I'd be like, oh, wait, I can make this so much better. Like, I'm just going to come do that. And it actually really started with moves too. Like some people asked me, can you help sort of coordinate everything for my move? I'm too busy. I was really good at it. And then I would take it a step further and unpack all their stuff and organize all their stuff. And so it was really just a word of mouth thing for years. But I saw the opportunity. I really enjoyed it. And I found that I had this knack for it. And I like to say I'm the most type B organizer you'll ever meet because I am, I can be a little like messy in my own life and a little chaotic, but I can think like the normal person and I can sort of like stop bad habits before they start because I understand how someone who can be messy is. So, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I bet you have so many amazing cool tips.
I that is one of my magical powers is I can literally riff tips for
Mhm.
hours. When I was a producer and host, I did a lot of live TV, and I can just go on and on forever because I truly love organizing, and I truly think that so many people don't put enough credence on making their home something that it's a part of your relationship, right? You have a relationship with your home, so having it be feel good, like look good, support you is an integral part of health and wellness, and I think that a lot of people think it's a luxury, but I don't think that that's true.
Well, before we started recording, we were even talking, and you have this like aesthetic that's a little playful, effervescent, fun, and not just kind of sterile white. What kind of inspired you? Is that just your personality and the creativity?
Yeah, I think it's just sort of like what attracts me. Like I am very much a person who lives her life like instinctively. And I think that I found myself really drawn to like bright colors, playful patterns, interesting visual cues. And I feel like even now, so much of the organizing that you see online, you go on Pinterest or you go on Instagram, something like that, to look for inspiration for your own home, it just feels really sterile. And not only is it sterile, but it's not realistic for most people. And I really have this mission to make organizing more creative, more fun, and more realistic for the average everyday person.
I can't help but have this
What?
image of my head of what was it, Khloe Kardashian in the jar with the Oreos stacked just
Oh,
perfectly.
God.
Like, who lives like that? Like, that's
I
not
mean,
real
no
life.
one, not even her. Like, that's the thing. I think, and there is a difference, and I can totally understand and appreciate the editorial version of this. Like, everyone wants to look at an idealized version of something sometimes, right? It makes us feel good. This is why we like reading fantasy or watching a fiction movie, whatever. I guess reading a fiction book. Um, but it becomes sort of problematic when the sort of let's idealize this thing, but then actually is she really living this way? Is she not living this way? Do I need to live this way if I want to feel put together, if I want to feel successful? And the answer is no. So I think it's really important to be like, okay, yes, this might be an editorialized version of this. Like we just had a Domino article come out today of a bunch of photos that we did in this beautiful house. Oh, is my internet bad? Okay. A bunch of photos that we did in this beautiful house, and they are definitely stylized, but they are also real. And it's very important to like have that overlap.
Mhm.
Um, and also, it doesn't have to be boring. Like our houses are too boring these days, and I really don't think it's like feeding our souls.
I love that. That's fun. All right. So let's get this is our encouragement to get a little more wild with our home organization and bring in some quirkiness and fun.
Yeah.
Um, Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
There's a difference, definitely a difference between a clean space and a functional space. So, can
Mhm.
you tell me about maybe a client story when the space looked fine on the surface, but really wasn't functioning or supporting them?
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of a specific story, but I think I'll start in general and see if something comes to me. So much of like think about think about like when I was growing up, for example, if we had people coming over, we would sort of like shove things into closets and like clear out like clear off the counters, clear everything off, throw things into drawers, and it looks clean on the surface, but as soon as you open a drawer, as soon as you open a closet, everything falls out, right? That is, I think, how a lot of people are living their lives. And the difference is that your brain knows what's inside all of those cabinets. Like
Right?
there is a philosophy, and I'm sure that you have talked about similar things to this, that like our brains are incredibly powerful. I think that on some level, my brain, it has stored and knows every single item that I own, down to every truly, like, every hair clip, every pair of glasses, every pair of earrings, everything. It's all in there, and it's keeping track of all of that. So, the more sort of disorder you have, even if you can't see it, even if you're not actively thinking about it, it is there, it's cluttering up your brain, and it is creating little, like, stress responses because
I would
in
say
your
little
head.
ping. It's
Yeah,
pinging
little
you
things.
all day long.
Totally, because it's like, "Oh my god," you know, maybe your, like, room looks organized on the surface, but if you need to find something in one of your drawers and you have to dig through things, that's creating a stress response in your brain, and so there's a huge difference, I think, between like, so many houses we go into look fairly organized on the surface because they have a housekeeper or they just don't wanna look at the clutter, so they're kind of just, like, wiping things off and throwing them into drawers and stuff, but they're like, "It's driving me crazy, and I feel unhinged that I think our house is messy," and, like, I'm arguing with my partner about it because 'cause they're like, "No, look, our house looks great." But I'm like, "No, no, you're right, because you don't know where to find what you need when you need it, and you know that when push comes to shove, if you have to find something last minute, you're not gonna be able to do it, and that is, like, preemptively creating stress in your brain and creating stress in your life, which you don't need."
Oh my gosh. So, have you had a client that you found you walked in and it was just so dysfunctional and like, where did you start?
I I mean, yes, I would say there are a lot of clients where and again, it's hard to pinpoint one because there's so many I've been organizing for over a decade and Space Camp has been around since 2019. Um, and you start to think of like individual clients as like groups in some ways because we see so many homes. And a lot of what I see people just sort of like let me think about this, how to say this. There's a little bit of a blindness when it's your own life and it's your own home, and you don't realize that something is dysfunctional until a mirror comes up against you and you like maybe see someone else's home functioning well, or you get into like one final argument with your partner or your kids, and you're like, okay, something has to change. This isn't working. And so we go in and we do these site visits with them, and usually it's the simplest things where I'm like, do you do you have a junk drawer in your kitchen? And they'll be like, oh my God, and everything's just out everywhere, but I heard I wasn't supposed to have one. I'm like, no, we need to have a drawer with dividers that has all the little things that you need to grab every single day. You're allowed to have that. I feel like people have a lot of guilt that they like should be able to do things a certain way, or
Mm.
they shouldn't have like like toys are all over the playroom. They shouldn't have this. And I'm like, we can
You
simplify
can't
this.
do it all. Like, I was just on a podcast yesterday and we were talking, and I'm like, women want to do it all, but you just can't, right?
No, and
Get
we
help,
wanna
get
do it all.
system, get
Yes.
it's okay to ask for help.
And I honestly feel like men don't feel like they have to do it all. That's, like, the crazy thing is where it's like we go to these meet these new people and women are always like, "Oh, I should be able to do this myself." Their husbands aren't saying that, they're saying that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a successful accountant or you're a successful this, or you're a mom or you're just like a human alive that doesn't have an organized brain. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And I would like this is why I think professional organizers are so important or what you do. Like it's so important to show people like there is a rhyme and a reason and a knowledge base behind this school of thought
Mhm.
because then that helps sort of release that guilt that you're supposed to naturally be good at it.
Right.
But it's also funny, like, I did this consultation once years ago where we were going through her whole house. She's such an amazing person that became, like, a longtime client, and we were in the dining room, and she opened up a credenza, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's full of swim stuff, it's full of goggles, it's full of what do you even put in here?" And I was like, "Oh, well, you could put, like, napkins and tablecloths." And she was like, "What?" She's like, "You're blowing my mind right now. This is why you get paid the big bucks. Wow!" And it's just like to you, you're like, of course. But to her, she had literally never thought of that. And she was like, that would make my house run. That would make dinner so much easier. And I was like, yeah, it
I think
would.
sometimes it's just a fresh set of eyes. Like, do you
Mhm.
see like, I can see what's happening in your home and how it's reflecting in your life and on how your body's reacting to that pile. Like, I can visibly see it. Let's help you understand.
Totally. I just think people there's like a you put your blinders onto your own space, and sometimes you just need someone like to be like, "Have you tried this?" And to you it feels like the easiest thing in the world. To them it is absolutely revolutionary. And that's why I'm always trying to remind myself to keep it simple, because sometimes
Mm.
the simplest tips are the ones that are the most helpful to people.
I find too that sometimes I'll go in someone's home and whether it's design or feng shui, they call me about X and I go look at it and I'm like, "No, I think you should be worried about Y." Like
Mhm.
X is fine. Do you stumble upon that?
Oh my god, all the time. Someone will call because they have, like, a garage they need organized or something like that, but then I always ask, "Do you feel comfortable showing me more of the house?" The whole house is really connected, and I think it'll be a better investment for you if I at least have information about the rest of the house so I can see how it all works together. So usually they're like, "Sure, sure, sure," and then I'll be like, "Oh, okay, you can't walk into your pantry because you have too much food. Are you enjoying cooking dinner?" They're like, "Oh my god, I haven't cooked in ages, but I want to." And I'm like, "Do you think we should do that first? And then when we do the garage, we can have like a whole backup supply section in the garage." And then they're like, "Oh my god, yes." Like, I think people don't know what they need until they have a little bit of, again, a mirror, I think, to talk about it, and they really don't see how all the different parts of your home are so interconnected, especially when it's a smaller home. Or they
Yeah.
think they need more space. They'll, like, call and be like, "Okay, I have to move because this isn't working," and then we'll go over there and, like, "You don't need more space. You just need some shelves here, and you need this here, and you need this here. Like, move if you want, but you don't have to." So that's always a fun thing to get to say.
I love that your approach is so easy breezy. It's so light. It's not and I think it I don't know, it over can feel overwhelming and just like a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. No, it is overwhelming, but a lot of people come to us. I think it has taken them a long time to even work up the courage to be like, "Am I willing to pay for this service? Do I wanna," like, it's super vulnerable to let someone see your mess.
Yes.
It's incredibly vulnerable, so they've already probably been considering this for days, months, weeks, years before they even call, and so I try to approach it sort of straddling, like, a seriousness that's like, "I see your frustration, I see your pain or your grief," like, the reason people have too much stuff is usually because they're holding on to emotions that they don't know how to get rid of or they're not ready to get rid of. But then on the other hand, it's not rocket science and it's not brain surgery, and we're not doing things like it's changing lives, but it's not saving lives. You know what I mean? So, like, we don't have to be so serious about it. And if you buy the wrong kind of bin, okay. If you do this wrong, okay. Like, there's kind of no wrong answers here. And I think a lot of people
Not
are like,
cardiac surgery is what I always tell people.
no, I'm like, "You guys, we don't need to be so," like, my team, I have some amazing team members, and they used to, like, beat themselves up if they, like, folded something wrong, and I'm like,
No.
"Guys, like, it's okay. We're good. Like, you can thank you for learning from this, but, like, everyone makes mistakes, and it's part of life, and that's just fine."
Mm.
It's good, honestly.
A lot of people get into organizational systems, but then things fall apart.
Mhm.
How do you set up your clients so that things really stick?
That is my favorite question.
Ooh.
Truly, it's my favorite question because, yeah, anyone can make a space look good, but getting it to stay good is the secret sauce.
Anybody can buy a label maker.
I mean, truly, anyone can buy a
It
label maker,
workers.
but will you use it? That's another question. No, this is a question that clients ask us all the time, and it's a couple things. It's one, being realistic about what you need, what you're going to do, and what you want. Because it's one thing for people to say, "I want nothing on my counters," and then, you start working with them and they're like, well, I need my blender on the counter because I use it every day. And I need my toaster on the counter because I use it every morning. And I'm like, okay, so we need to sort of find a compromise between your ideal look and your actual life. And let's find what will work well for you and what will feel right for you. So I think that being realistic about things is number one. And number two, remembering that your house is meant, like you're organizing so that you can live in it, right? And so I think so many people get organized and they're like afraid to touch it because they're like, I don't want to mess it up. And I'm like,
It's no photo shoot ready. Why would you want to touch it?
"Mhm." And I'm like, no. You need to learn to trust yourself that like here are a couple things. Like if you get something out, put it back in the right space, right? But don't be afraid to use your own home. I think that's a big thing. So we try to like really encourage that. And you definitely want to organize with at least 20% free space. If you are organizing and everything goes back and not one extra thing will fit in that drawer or in that closet or in that cabinet, there is zero way that it is going to stay organized because the next time something new comes in from the laundry room because, oh, I forgot I had this other shirt that we hadn't washed. You buy something new, something changes, someone gifts you something. If you don't have somewhere to put it away, then you put it in the wrong space, and that's when the systems start falling apart. So, not overloading systems, being realistic, and also being like what's the right word? Being a little bit malleable. So I used to take dance class in high school, and I had a great teacher once who said, if you're really not getting the choreography, we should change it because it's bad choreography. Good choreography eventually becomes instinct. Bad choreography, you're never going to get and you're going to keep doing it wrong. So I think of organizing like choreography where it's like, okay, we ask a lot of questions. Let's say we're doing a kitchen. I'm like, okay, what do you use the most? What does your sort of normal routine in the morning look like? What kinds of foods are you grabbing on a daily basis? Do you take snacks to go with you? Like, you want to ask a lot of questions to then think about how you compare the things that people are using the most in the easiest to reach spaces, and then store the things they're using the least in the harder to reach spaces, which that's a mistake we see constantly. We go into people's homes and they're like, they open up their like most, most valuable space cabinet and they'll be like, here's all my cookie cutters. And I'll be like, oh, how often are you a professional baker? How often are you making cookies? They're like, oh God, like once every 5 years. And I'm like, so you open that cabinet every day to move the cookie cutters out of the way to get a water glass? And they're like, yeah, it sucks. And I'm like, yeah, that really does suck. Like I've been known like
So
upon
funny.
first meeting someone to be like, do I have your permission to move these right now? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. Great. Let's move these. Let's put these up here. You don't even need to worry about those right now. We'll fix that when we come back. But now you can have a glass of water.
That is
So,
so funny.
yeah, it's just about.
I've had a similar experience where I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
client with a cactus right next to the photo of their daughters, and like cactus and feng shui are just really bad feng shui. I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, that can't be there, and I
No.
can't move until I adjust something here.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, because also, like, sometimes when someone's like, okay, I'm going to open the closet door and things just start piling out, and I'll be like,
God,
I cannot in good conscience leave this like this. So can I help you pick it up for the next 10 minutes and then we'll move on? And they're
there
like,
you go.
okay. Yeah.
So, if you had to share 3 of your favorite tips with us, what would those be?
Hmm. Okay. My 3 favorite tips. When you are sorting, so that's when you're like going through the purge phase, deciding what do I want to keep? What don't I want to keep? Like, I think that getting into a flow, like put on some music that feels good, maybe have a friend who really like you really vibe with come over and go off of gut instinct. Like, don't overthink it. So many people overthink it, like, maybe I'll wear that dress someday. If if it doesn't feel good, let it go. It's a sunk cost. You're not hurting anyone or anything by letting go of things that are not working for you anymore. And I know that's a huge feng shui principle too. It's like if you open up your closet and half the things in there make you feel icky, that is not doing anything for your life. So I think getting like flexing that muscle of learning in your body what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you is the first major step towards living an organized life. Because as soon as your home is filled with things you like and you use, you've already done 90% of the work. And get it out. Like as soon as you, I guess tip number 2 is as soon as you have donations or trash or anything, get it out right away.
Oh my
So
God.
many organizers tell adults, and it's different for kids, but they tell adults, keep a donation bin in your closet and put things in it. Are you kidding me? No one I know is going to let those things sit there till it gets full and not pull stuff back out and second guess
You
themselves.
know it. Oh, you were right.
Are you kidding me? There's just it like would be burning a hole in my brain to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but that dress I spent $100 on and never wore is in this basket, and I feel so bad." Get it out, get it out, get it out. Give it to someone else. You can't with kids, you do wanna have a grown out of bin in their closet because as you notice something's too small, throw it in there, deal with
Well,
it
that
later.
happened so quick. So,
Totally, and that's a whole different situation, right? Kids are so much less attached to things than we are for the most part, so yeah, whatever. So, get your donations out as soon as possible so they're just sort of, like, out of your orbit and you don't have to worry about it anymore, and every item needs to have a home. So, this is where products come in. Um,
okay.
so every item you own needs to have somewhere where it lives. It doesn't necessarily mean that like it needs its own box or its own bag or its own bin. But let's say you have a big open drawer where you are like, imagine your silverware drawer, right? If you just had all of your silverware dumped into one drawer, it would take a lot longer to find what you need versus having it all separated. And then it's easier both to put away and to take out because it's separated. It's the
Mhm.
same concept for anything. So it's like in your bathroom drawer, you want to have divisions for like maybe your makeup is here and your dental care is here. And it's just to help.
Okay, I'm like, I feel like you were in my bathroom.
It's just thinking about how everything needs a home. And sort of spitballing off of that tip, do not buy any organizational supplies until you have first purged then and sorted your items and then put them back where you ideally want them to go. And I want you to measure your space, know what you need, and then shop with purpose. And it's okay to overbuy to kind of see what works once you get in there. But so many people do it the opposite way where they go to the Container Store, they go to Target, they're like, ooh, this is cute. Ooh, this is cute. And they just buy a
Right?
ton of
They
bins
get sucked in.
and none of them work. And then you're just adding junk to your junk.
Oh my
So
And
be
literally
purposeful.
in my bathroom, I have unused bins that don't fit on the top shelf. I really think you were in my bathroom.
I'm not, but
Called
maybe
out.
like intuitively I am. It it's a problem with just how the how our world works right now, where it's easier to buy the bin than it is to get the information about how to use the bin. And so I should get it tattooed on my arm, like measure before you buy or something, because it's just like stop. And here's the thing, Container Store wants you to do that. Amazon wants you to do that, right? Like that's how they make money. They want you to buy the wrong things and be like, oops, well, now you need this new thing to fix the problem that you made by buying this other thing. And but on the flip side of that, there are some really excellent products out there right now that
Mhm.
can really help make, better space in your drawers, in your closets, all that kind of stuff. It's just about being smart and intentional about what you bring into your home and, you know, measure and then buy.
Measure and then buy. What is it? Measure twice, cut once. That's the motto.
Exactly.
This will be the new one. Measure and then buy. Take
Mhm,
a little I always
mhm,
have any clients have a little Ziploc baggie and they have measurements in their phone and in their baggie are the swatches or color swatches,
mhm,
right? They have all that. This is yeah, add this to your notebook. Measure,
mhm.
add figure out all the measurements, all the sizes you need, and then take that to
So
Target,
here
like
and
you
a little tip for everyone. If let's say you have you need a couple baskets for your closet, right? Open up your Instagram app, go to your stories, take a picture of your closet. You're not going to post it. You're just using this as a tool, and then use the little, like, you could put the type on there, the words, measure your space and write any notes you want and the measurements on the picture, save it, and then delete it. So that's what we have for every room and every house that we go into, because it's so much easier than having all these like random measurements written down in a note somewhere or on a notepad. And it's really
Good. That's really
visual.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
visual.
super helpful. And just because I'm a really visual person. So yeah, if I want, because, I also think that thrift stores, home goods, things like that are some of the best places to find unique baskets and bins and interesting things. So you might
Mhm.
have to look for those things in person. So be equipped with your photos and your measurements and your wish list, and then, have fun doing it if you like shopping when you're out.
Mm. Get the wish list going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Juliana, anything else you want to share with the listeners before we
Oh, I
go?
don't know. I
Any
don't.
last words of wisdom or advice?
Um, don't take it too seriously. I think that people overthink the process, and they're like, "Oh, how am I ever going to do this?" And it's big. It can be heavy, especially if you need to go through things that have a lot of emotional weight attached to them. But start small. It's one of those things. It's sort of like exercise or like learning something new. It's hard to get started, but once you get started, the momentum kind of takes over. And before you know it, one drawer of sorting has become 10 drawers of sorting. So the first step is the most important, and then it kind of takes off from there.
Mm. Juliana, you are a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you. It's been really nice. I feel like we could talk all day.
You have this like effervescence that it's super fun, and I'm so glad we connected. And thank you for joining me today on the podcast.
My pleasure. Absolutely. I hope it was helpful.
All right, everyone. I will be sure to add all the links if you want to learn more about Juliana and her business. If you need to get your home organized, you need some more tips, I will link all of that in the show notes. Until next time, take care, friends. Special thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. For more information, head over to the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time.